Welcome to the Cypher Chronicles. This is episode 13. Today, episode 13.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I am Daddy Goods, Jimmy Goods, your daddy, whatever the fuck you want to call me, baby. Yeah, and she is
Not your daddy. Bella, you guys know who it is.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't, you'll soon know. By the
See.
way, not a hydro flask of water.
Thankfully.
But it is a hydro flask. You know, I'm thinking that they should probably sponsor me. Because I stay repping. I mean, you can't really see the symbol. It's underneath this doer sticker.
You know, you gotta rep the squad. You know, I got my Giants on right now. San Francisco Giants. Shout out to the San Francisco Giants. And shout out to all my people in California going through the heat wave. I know you don't have the skin that can get used to that kind of heat. You know, living in Vegas, living in 110-degree weather. I'm quite used to it myself, but I know all of you in California going through it. So get through that heat scam. You'll be okay.
It's a scam. Q predicted this.
Why do they call it a scam?
They're gonna try to make us think that it's a. They're gonna try to make us think it's a heat wave, but it's not. So
but it's actually hot. So how could it be a scam?
Not hot over here. I know, it was a joke. I loved it though. It was fucking hilarious.
I didn't know you.
Well, don't believe everything you see in the liberal fake news media. Blah blah blah.
That's true. You can't.
It was fucking hilarious. I was dying.
I
think it's like Duncan something that posted that.
Duncan Trussell. He's on Joe Rogan all the time.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Hilarious.
He's a comedian. He's supposed to be hilarious.
Well, hey, I mean, they're all supposed to be, but they're not all hilarious.
What up? When are you going to start your comedy career?
I'm working on it. I think I'm really funny and I laugh at my own jokes, but that's just me.
You know, all of the comedians, they have podcasts. So we're kind of doing it backwards. We got a podcast, but we're not comedians.
And we'll do stand-up comedy one day.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like people that do comedy, they have a special thing about them and their personality. I mean, not just that they're funny, but the fact they can go on stage and have no fear about bombing. Well, they probably do got fear about bombing. I think that would be my biggest fear, is going on stage and nobody laughing at the shit that I find funny. I would be devastated.
My biggest fear is me going on stage and I'm the only one laughing at my shit, because I'll just like say it and like not be able to hold back and just like laughing and be like, okay, and then keep going. You know,
you say your hottest joke and you'll be like,
I'm like
crickets.
And then I'll look around and nobody will be laughing and I'll be like, fuck you guys.
Just playing. That would be my fear, is that I say something I thought was funny and then I get heckled and I can't beat the heckler in heckling, and he gets in my head and I end up
then they turn into the stand-up comedian on your own show, like roasting you.
You really just gotta get off stage at that point, if that were the case.
Yeah, for sure.
So you gotta have a few bullets for the hecklers, because you can't let the heckler out heckle you. But you're the one with the mic, so
yeah,
you have an advantage.
Control the combo.
Exactly.
But I think that's part of the, like, that would make me successful in a sort of way, because I actually am pretty good at like being on my toes in those kinds of situations and like coming back with like real quick, you know?
Yeah.
That is a strength of mine, but that would take them heckling me, which is not the goal, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I tell you one thing, I wouldn't go on stage with those pigtails, because that'd get you heckled right there.
Shut your face. Shut your face. These are not pigtails, by the way. They're space buns, and I did not want to do my hair today, so I was like, fuck. I woke up looking extra cute. Like, my hair was like a fucking I don't sleep with my hair in a hair tie because I feel like it's gonna make my hairline go further back by pulling my hair, right? And I don't want to be fucking saluting people from back here eventually. So I sleep with my hair down and then I wake up and it's like a massive nest. So,
hey, speaking of hairlines and saluting people from back there, you know, I have a theory. Here's another James. I said James. Jimmy James, DG conspiracy theory right here that I have about hairlines and men balding at young ages. So as you can see, I have a head full of hair. I mean, there's a couple of little spots that are a little lighter, but I got a head full of hair and I'm 32, right? Next year I'll be 33. They say men, they keep their hair. If they have it at 32, they'll have it for the rest of their life. A lot of guys, they start balding in their mid-20s. And I have a theory. And my theory is if you use men's shampoo, then you will bald at a younger age. And I don't know exactly why. It might be the fragrances inside of this shampoo, or maybe they're putting certain chemicals so that eventually you can go and buy their Rogaine products or the regrowth hair products and whatnot. That's my theory, that men that use women's shampoo, they have their head of hair for longer periods of time. That's my theory. Yeah. Wouldn't it make sense though?
Well,
because they want women to have healthy, luscious hair so that the women constantly buy their shampoos, their conditioners. They have more to gain by women having nice, luscious, healthy hair than they do from men. They have more to gain from men losing their hair because men want to continuously look.
It's all money. Yeah, it's all money. I can see why you would think that. However, I bet you if we compared chemicals in products that we'd find a lot of the similar things. I think that male pattern baldness is more attributed to a hormone thing. I hear like so there's a thing that like supplements that I take like for my skin, and one of them is actually good for men because of the hormone, like how it like helps your hormones. I think it's like saw palmetto, and it helps like reduce like something about DHT. And yeah, like that helps promote hair growth for men, or like put a stop to hair loss. Dude, some dudes lose their hair at like 18. They start going bald and shit. It's crazy. And you know how they say that it's like a maternal thing, like the hair loss is going to come from your mother's side? I disagree. Everybody that I know that goes bald, like their dads are bald too. Are you checking yourself out?
I am. Sorry.
He's all, I got a full ass head of hair.
I got a full ass head of hair.
Looking fly. I ain't got no worries.
I haven't got a haircut in a few weeks though, so I gotta work on that. But it is nice being able to get a haircut though. I mean, shout out all my bald fellas out there. I know you make it work with your shiny ass heads.
Get your girl to rub some lotion, some cocoa butter.
You can still take your girl
some saw palmetto.
You can still take your girl out to go see the stars, and maybe then you can get some space buns. I told you guys it's time to start my comedy career. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, we'll be there. Got to
start my comedy career, put out another mixtape, and just start doing all the things that I really want to do. I mean, hey, I read The Alchemist, or I'm reading The Alchemist right now, so it's kind of getting me back.
How are you liking it so far?
So far, so good. It's pretty cool. I'm not that far into it, but I mean, man, it's a really, really good storyline.
I think it's a good book. I don't want to super discuss it yet because you're not done, but there are some points in the book that I think really like transcend like into actual life, and like these like lessons you pull from it, and I think it's like.
Can I tell you my really favorite quote from the book so far? When they said this quote, immediately I resonated with this quote, and I think everybody can kind of correlate it with their own personal life, but this is the quote. The secret of happiness is to see all the marvels in the world and never forget the drops of oil in the spoon. Do you remember that quote?
I don't recognize that quote.
So
wait, so how far are you in this book right now?
I'm like on chapter 2. I'm not that far yet, but so far, so I mean, I think it's chapter 2. It might be chapter 3. I'm doing the audio
in the story as of right now.
All right, so he just got done speaking to the king of Salem, and the king of Salem was giving him words of wisdom, and he just got done telling him that he'll tell him where the treasure is if he gives him one of his sheeps. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, because he's on his pursuit to finding his treasure or life purpose or whatever, his treasure is. I mean, in the book, I think initially it starts as like him like actually seeking trinkets, like the traditional sense of what treasure is. But keep following the story, man.
I am
muy excited for you.
Are you really?
It's a good book. I like it. I think it's a classic. I think it's a book everyone should read. The Alchemist. I actually have it right here.
And I'll give you.
I have not read it.
And The Alchemist. And I'll give you my own personal, like what I think that quote means to me personally. But I'll tell you first what somebody else said. So in The Alchemist, the king of Salem tells the story of a boy who must travel the world carrying a spoon of oil, which he must not spill. It is important for the boy to experience the world, but on this journey, he shouldn't be distracted from his own personal goals and personal life and purpose in life. And the way I took it was that you could recognize all the great marvels of the world and chase your dreams, but in the midst of doing that, don't forget the things that are truly important to you, like family and just whatever your true desires are and your own personal morals. And that's,
or like, people are so destination focused that they're not actually paying attention to the journey and the cool things and lessons and things that you see and learn and people you meet like along the way, that's another thing that I got from that.
What's up? Let's call out Whitney Cummings for stealing our foot fetish talk. And let's talk about how celebrities in general, they have teams of people that pillage the internet and steal ideas from the young or the creators and young and
the lesser known creators.
That's facts that there's actually teams of people that work for celebrities that go through the internet and just straight up take the ideas from the creators that are, less known. And that's facts.
It's true.
And then when the creator that's less known comes across the celebrity's podcast, song, or whatever the case is, they'll be wondering, really, like, how is that a coincidence that they have the same exact talking points that I had in my podcast 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and they're just coming out with it now? And you'll wonder.
Yeah.
But then you'll bring it up to people, and most of them will say, oh, come on, man, you're just crazy. You're doing too much thinking. It's a coincidence. But then it happens over and over again. And we recently just saw Whitney Cummings' latest clip on the internet talking about foot fetishes and whatnot. Since when was that the topic for people to talk about? We accidentally came up with that topic to talk about, and it happened to bring our channel over 60,000 impressions. And I don't know, now celebrities are talking about this.
I mean, obviously we know that foot fetish talk isn't like a new topic or anything.
Right.
It's apparently one of it's the most popular or whatever trendy, I don't know what the fuck, fetish that there is out there. but talking about it did bring a lot of traffic through. And I mean, how probable is it that one of those impressions was her scouts?
I think it's very, very probable.
I mean, she straight interviewed like a neuroscientist about it, so like they were like getting down to the nitty gritty of it. But like,
I want to know, is interviewing people considered a podcast?
I mean, I think so. I think that
what is a
there's
podcast?
People who every single episode they interview someone, right? Instead of just having a conversation or talking about something.
I think a podcast should be more of a conversation piece than an interview.
Well, yeah, but that's what interviews are, right? They're conversations.
Yeah, I guess.
But I think that some of the conversations or interviews that we see happen in podcasts are like
about the celebrity.
That they're about the celebrity, and then it's like partially like promotion or some kind of like, because they got a project going on that they're about to launch or release, in one of those ways. It's like PR for them, like.
That's the new thing now. This is the new thing. I mean, podcasting been happening for probably like a good 10 years now, but you're right. There's now managers probably booking their artist or actor or whatever they do for podcasts because it's getting tons of exposure on different ones.
Yeah.
Especially on podcasts like Joe Rogan. I don't know. I don't know how Whitney Cummings' podcast does, but
she usually interviews somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love her. I love the podcast. But whenever I listen to it, I'm like, yo, these are the kinds of conversations I have already. Like,
shout out to your Lilo and Stitch sweater that you got on right now. Is that a sweater? I thought it was hot right now. What's going on?
I have the AC on in here now. I got an AC delivered yesterday, last night, late in the evening.
Yeah, I didn't know UPS worked that late. A different kind of UPS.
A different kind of UPS. A different kind of UPS brought me an AC to put in my bedroom. It's only in my bedroom. My brother has one in his room, and my kids have a couple of fans. I invited them to sleep in my room last night, but they didn't want to, so I was like, fine, then sweat your ass off. I don't care.
Yeah.
Closing the door.
So do you plan on taking that Lilo Stitch sweater off in your OnlyFans?
Yes. No, I'll keep the sweater off. It's just the sweater.
What do you think?
The camera only shows the top half. What
do you think the people like your family are gonna say about your OnlyFans?
They might not approve. I mean, obviously I'm not doing porn. I don't care. So whatever. Like, if that's what you're expecting from me, you will be very disappointed. I am not showing you my tits. I'm not showing you my pussy. I am not finger banging myself on no goddamn videos. That's not happening. That is not what's going on. Okay? I might show you my cute little underpants, but that's about it. And my toes, obviously. That's why this is all inspired by, right? Marry one, fuck one, kill one.
All right.
Maggie Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
Fran Drescher.
Mm-hmm.
And
these are some really random people.
Yes, Maggie and I'll tell you. So Maggie Wheeler,
from Friends,
Fran Drescher, and Megan Mullally.
Man, this is like literally people I've never heard of. I have no idea what they look like.
So you want to know what they all have in common first?
Oh, the nanny. Choose? The nanny. Oh well, the nanny, 100% gonna have to kill her. Her voice is bound to
That's what they
drive me
all
up
have
the
in
wall.
common.
They all have annoying voices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Fran Drescher, like
Maggie Wheeler is Janice from Friends.
I don't.
Oh my god!
I could deal with
You've
that
never
more
seen
than
it?
I could deal with that more than Fran Drescher.
Mm-mm.
Fran Drescher.
It's pretty similar.
Oh my gosh, her
It's pretty
voice.
similar.
I would probably contemplate jumping off a bridge if Fran Drescher was
But
around me every
Janice
day.
is similar. Maggie Wheeler is similar.
All right, who's the other one?
Megan Mullally. She's from Will and Grace, I do believe. And she's
Megan Mullally.
Yes.
Okay, Megan Mullally.
She's on Parks and Recs, I think, too. Let's see.
Megan Mullally. See, I know nothing about these women, but
you're so annoying. Listen to them.
She's an actress, comedian, and singer. Those are all qualities I like. So I'd probably marry Megan Mullally. I'd probably fuck the Friends chick. What's her name?
Janice.
No, Maggie Wheeler. Maggie Wheeler and Fran Drescher. I'm getting rid of 100%.
You're gonna kill Fran Drescher.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe her voice made her famous.
I'm kind of attracted to Fran Drescher though. She's
beautiful.
She's kind of hot though. I mean, I might be able to fuck past the voice, you know. Damn, she's kind of hot though, man. Fuck. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna fuck her.
You're gonna fuck Fran Drescher.
I'm fucking Fran Drescher raw dog.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking
raw dog. Okay.
Raw dog.
Raw dog.
So I'm fucking Fran Drescher. I'm getting rid of who is that one? I'm definitely getting rid of Maggie Wheeler. Getting rid of Maggie Wheeler, fucking Fran Drescher, and I'm gonna marry Megan Mullally because she could probably make me laugh and she could sing for me, and she's not that bad looking herself, actually.
She's a cougar.
Yeah, she's definitely on some cougar shit. But you know, me being a guy, I like older, and guys like older women naturally. So you know, it's all good.
Okay, so that's okay. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's a thing. I think young men love older women because older women are more confident and usually have their shit somewhat together. And you know what I mean? I think that's a thing. So like
security and like a mother, having a mother around type of thing.
Men always want a mommy. That's another thing. Hold on, I'll return to that.
On the nipple.
They do. They want to be on the tip for sure. Now that I'm 35, right? I'll be 36 in a couple of months. I can't believe I can say that. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I get hit on young dudes like crazy. Crazy. It's always some 23 or 4-year-old in my DMs saying some shit, and I'm like,
that's the horniest age available. 22, 23. When I was 22, 23, I wanted to fuck everything moving. She had 2 legs and a vagina. I wanted to fuck her.
It's all pink where it counts, but
hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, if it's healthy, right? But it's crazy.
She got that sap, not that wop. She got that sap, that stanky ass pussy.
Ooh, yeah. But we want to stay away from those. But do you think that it's because of the mommy thing that men really want a woman that like resembles their mom, or a woman that's going to take care of them? Like,
yeah, for sure. Guys want to be.
Why do they expect women to be independent, but then be their mommy? How is that like? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. They want to be independent, but they want their mommy and the chick that they're talking to. It's just all a psychological thing. However they were treated by their mother in the past was how they're gonna want their significant other to be. They're gonna want her to cook all the same meals their mom makes. They're gonna want her to hold them when they're, feeling like they need someone to hold them, type of thing. It doesn't matter how manly the man is, they're always gonna want a chick that is fulfilling the role of their mother as well. Real talk.
How do we feel about mama's boys though? Like, okay, as a mother, I'm a mother and I have a son, right? I'm always gonna love my son. He's gonna be my baby. But I think that where that becomes a problem, right, is if when he's older, he's still, if I'm still like that with him, that's a problem. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, he's my handsome baby. Like, I'm sure I'm gonna call him handsome and things like that, like when he's older. But like, I think that there's a very fine line that a lot of mothers cross, right?
Yeah.
And it like fosters a very toxic relationship between mothers and fathers, like, or mothers and sons. You know, like I sent you that one post on Instagram where that man had his mother in the seat and the girl was like arguing with the mom, and she's like, dude, like what the fuck, like this is my car. And he's like, he's not defending his wife, she was married to her. And he's like, and someone posted it and said, like, who do you think should sit in the front seat, the mother or the wife? And I think the wife gets the fucking front seat, right?
I think so, yeah.
I say this because if you're married to the man, it's you and him now against the world, right? You two are a family. Yeah. First and foremost, of course, you love your parents, you respect your parents, but it's you two that are the family unit, and you look out for each other first and foremost. You take care of each other, whatever. Now, if you have a healthy relationship with your mother, then you'll have a healthy relationship with your wife. And I'm sure any wife who doesn't feel like she needs to compete with her mother-in-law would relinquish the front seat, right? She'd be like, no, you know what? You can sit here and I'll take the back or whatever. But if that's not a healthy relationship, they're going to fight for it because they're fighting for that position that is the front seat in the man's life. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I think that every man at some point definitely has to get out of the nest and not be such a mama's boy if he really truly wants to respect his wife and wants things to grow in his actual relationship. He has to put his wife first, and he has to make it evident to his mother as well, because his mother no longer can play that role anymore. I mean, yes, she's still his mom, but she needs to know that his wife is the number one woman in his life now. And I don't care how close a guy is with his mom, he could still be close with his mom, talk to his mom all the time. But at a certain point, the mom has to know, okay, my son is not a baby no more. He's a grown-ass man. I shouldn't step on his wife's toes by trying to treat him like a baby, and let her be a woman and let her do what she has to do to take care of her husband. And I think that both the mother and the wife both need to just kind of have that natural understanding for each other that isn't stepping on each other's toes, and there has to be some kind of respect as well with that. But I mean, for the most part, I think women, you all need to know when you got a real mama's boys in your hand, and you got to let them know, look, I am not down for you to be this.
Set the boundary.
Yeah, you got to set the boundaries for sure.
Yeah, I think that oftentimes though, like that's the issue, is that boundaries aren't established from the beginning, right? First of all, there's toxic ass mothers that need to fucking also set boundaries within themselves. Like, your son is not your husband. You need to chill. You know what I mean? Like, you need to take a step back and let your boy be a man. If you raised him right and did your job, you're fine. You're not going to be left in the dust or whatever the hell you're afraid of. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But also men, when you're introducing a girl to your parents, you need to do so in a way that's going to let them know that this is your girl, like you're serious about her. You know what I mean?
I think the way a guy introduces his girl to his family and to people that are important to him says a lot. And I think most women, if they're introduced as a friend, then that's how they're going to treat the guy. If not at that moment, at some point, because he already set the playing field by calling her his friend to his important family, versus if he would have said, hey, this is my girlfriend, then now she knows, okay, so that's how he thinks of me, and this is how much he respects me. He's bringing me to his family, and he's letting them know, like, hey, look, this is my girlfriend. You need to respect her, because that's really ultimately what you're saying to your family. This is my girlfriend, not just some cum bucket that I'm dumping my nuts in every night, because that's what I think that the family will think. If you bring a chick and you're like, hey, this is my friend, they're going to be like, oh, it's not his girlfriend.
Right. Like, oh, don't take her serious. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think that's a really, really important.
Let's get some air horns. Let's get.
Hey, amen, hallelujah.
Woo. Yeah, some real.
So if a man introduces the girl, the woman, to his family and says she's just a friend, she needs to take that seriously. Like, language is important. So, like, if he calls you his friend, ladies, you aren't his girl.
Very true.
Right? Right? Safe to say. So don't close your opportunities elsewhere, because homeboy is keeping his open, clearly.
He's definitely keeping it open.
To transition from what we were just talking about as far as mothers go and relationships and being serious and things like that, and what language is important, and keeping options open, right? A topic that I very want to open up for discussion is monogamy.
Okay.
And I had seen this, I think it was on Netflix. It was one of those like explain it things. It was like a short little thing saying that like human beings aren't inherently monogamous, and that it's like a social construct, right?
Oh, so, yeah. Like, absolutely.
So, right, and like a religion thing. Because biologically, right, like animals in whatever kingdom, there's very, very few species that are monogamous. Like they say that penguins.
There's other species that are
yeah, like penguins, when they mate, it's their mate for life. Like there's very, very few species that are monogamous. And the only reason that humans, I don't think most people are, that's just me, are monogamous is because of a religion, or like what society has created as morals and ethics based on religion.
Yeah.
As what's right and what's fair. And the way that society and the systems are structured is that like it's really hard for a single person to really build life, and it's usually easier for like a couple, two people to like really build. There's tax breaks for marriages and buying, you know, things like that. And so can people, like, do you think people would be monogamous by choice?
Like if it was never a set thing, pre-programmed in your mind from a baby? No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all, because look at the people who grow up in broken households. They end up not wanting to be with nobody, or if they are, they end up cheating a lot, and they're looked down upon for that. But it's really just the natural human way. I don't think it's natural at all. for monogamy, honestly.
I think that for me, that I think it's so easy that to like love multiple people at one time.
Oh yeah.
But like there's pieces of people like that there's things and qualities that you get from different people that you enjoy that like make you feel more complete. Right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I have fun with this person. Oh, this person's sex is amazing. Oh, I have really great conversation with this person. Like there's these multiple elements that you get from each person. And then if you have those consistently, then I think that you're happy and you feel complete. But I think that the part that makes you unhappy or weird about it is your conscience that comes from social construction, like the ethics and morals and religious things telling you you're a horrible person because you're fucking around with multiple people, when really I think that that's what people do, or like inherently polygamous.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think there's different ways of becoming a more happy and complete person, and I think that sometimes you just don't get that with one person. And you're right, you don't have to have the same relationship with each and every person that's in your life. And I mean, because what am I trying to say here? It's like I think you do need a variety of different people in your life for that. And people will judge you, and I think that the way that we've been programmed is a way to stop us from really becoming complete people. Like I really think you need a lot of different types of interactions in your life. And the fact that a guy can't, I mean, because like look at like what we're doing right now. I mean, I'm a married guy, right? And I already, just based off of us doing this podcast, I've had people ask me, what's going on with you and Erica? I'm like, me and Erica are fucking amazing. We're fine. They're like, who is this chick? I'm like, she's just my friend. Like we talk, have great conversations, got a podcast together and things like that. And it's that social outlook that really stops people from being able to really fulfill themselves. So I think it's interesting.
And that's another point though too, is that not all relationships need to be sexual. Like we have a really great friendship. That's something that I've never even considered with you, because I like our relationship is complete the way that it is, like it's a friendship, and I think it's really important for people, men, women, people, whoever, to have friendships and relationships that aren't sexual with the opposite sex, or other genders. I think it's really important, because I don't think you can really have a full perspective or just like a really actually fulfilled life without having all those different contributions to it that like open you up to other like lenses and ways of life. I don't think that you'll grow or evolve if you don't have that kind of exposure and learn that self-control and that discipline, and knowing how to navigate life without things always going, okay, well, this person's really nice to me, so I'm gonna fuck them. Like, no, that's not how that has to go.
Yeah,
you
not
guys
at
can
all.
be friends. Like
that's a thing. That could be a thing.
Yeah, like you don't have to have sex with everybody. So with that being said, I think monogamy is possible. I don't think people are inherently monogamous. I do think it is a social construct. However, I think it's possible, and I think it's something a lot of people want. Like I don't think people want to be, in a relationship with someone that they know is seeking other things elsewhere, but I think people want relationships. Like, we're human, we want companionship, so it's just like I just wanted to ask what you thought about that.
I think the issue is most people, they want to be all of the things that their significant other needs, they want to be that. But I think it takes a certain maturity level to realize if you're not able to provide that, and be mature enough to allow them to find that where they need it. And if it's sex or something that you wouldn't necessarily want from a real significant other, then you probably shouldn't be with that person. But if it's not sex and things that would be considered cheating, then you got to be okay with that, and you can't have the insecurities, because that will just ruin everything. If you truly want to make your significant other happy, then you got to understand what it is that you are not gonna be the one providing, and be okay with them finding it where they got to find it, and be a team player in that aspect. I think that that will go a long way, and you never know what kind of great things can come from that as well.
Right. If you show your like support for your significant other, like all the doors that you open, because they're like, oh my God, like this is really great. Like this person supports me. Like I love this person. Like this is amazing.
That's why I never judged people who are swingers, because those people at some point in the relationship probably decided, hey, look, I really love this person, I really love you, but I do also like going out and being with other women as well, or or men, or whatever the case may be, but you're my best friend, and I want to go out and do it with you. I want to go and have these experiences with you by my side because you're my best friend. So that's why I never judge the people that are into going to swinger parties out in Vegas and whatnot. And I used to meet a lot of them because I did Uber out here, and so I would take the people to these swinger parties. And I wouldn't know initially that I'm taking them to swinger parties, but then when we would get there, I'm like, oh shit, these people are swingers, and I would have never even thought. And it's really actually it'll expand your mind if you think about trying to understand what it is that they do. And I remember I spoke to this chick this one night when I lived in San Diego, actually, and she was telling me how deeply she's in love with her husband, but they're swingers, and they have relationships with these other people as well, but they never really bring them home and whatnot, and they don't necessarily tell their significant other all about it, but they always come back home to their significant other, and it works for them, and it makes them happy, and they don't have the insecurities and jealousy, and the relationship works.
So they don't tell each other about it, but they know that each other does it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah.
That's interesting.
But from the outside looking in, it's easy to judge people that are doing that, and you just never know what kind of deep, strong relationships certain people may have. And I think finding that in your significant other comes from trying to understand them on a different level, and it does take just a different level of maturity as well. I mean, because think about the kind of things that you can accomplish with somebody when you really try to understand them, and you're not all about what the others think, because a lot of times people will leave their significant other just because of how other people think about their relationship, and they don't try to,
or because they don't think that their significant other understands them, like I think that a lot of fights like within couples are because they want to be understood, and everybody thinks it's because they want to be right, or you know what I mean? It's like, no, I don't want to be right, I just want you to fucking understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I know sometimes it's hard to find the right time to talk about certain topics, and you don't want to come off the wrong way, and you don't want your significant other to think that you are unhappy in a relationship, so you don't want to bring up certain subjects at certain times. But man, talking and understanding each other can go a long way.
A very long way. And I mean, come on, like if you're not with somebody that you feel you can talk to about anything, like think about what kind of relationship you're in then, you know, like conversations are difficult, and it is hard regardless of a strong relationship or not to initiate those kinds of conversations. But ultimately you have to like, you got to do it, because that's the only way you'll know what kind of relationship you're in too, I think.
Hey, shout out to the time that I was doing Uber and I dropped off this older couple to this place called the Red Rooster in Las Vegas. I didn't know what the Red Rooster was, but
what is it?
I get there and it's a more mature swingers club where 50-year-old people go and party. And one night this person left a wallet in my car, and I didn't notice it until I was a few miles down the street, and I'm thinking, man, this person's gonna definitely need their wallet. So, you know, I did what any honest person would do. I turned back around, and I had no way of getting a hold of them because I was their Uber driver, right? And I'm thinking, man, I gotta go in this place so I can, you know, give them their wallet. And so and by the way, I didn't know what Red Rooster was at the time,
at that moment.
At that moment, but I knew as soon as I walked in what I walked into. It was a 50 plus nude, all nude, completely nude party. So when you walk in, you have to take off your clothes and all that. So I walk in and I'm the youngest person, and I promise everybody in there butt ass naked, older dudes, balls hanging, older chicks, tits hanging. Everybody turns and looks at me as I walk in with this wallet that I'm returning. The guy comes walking up. The guy comes walking up. Oh my gosh, thank you. This dude is completely naked now. My passenger's completely naked, balls out. I'm trying to not look, and I'm scarred. I'm blown away. I can't unsee this situation, or I can't unsee this moment, and I'm still scarred by it to today. But the rest of the night, because I drove the rest of the night, I had the best story to tell people. Everybody was, you know, tipping me. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And I'm like, yeah, it's funny to you, but I'm mentally scarred. I've seen all these old dicks and titties.
I need therapy.
Yeah, facts. I need some therapy.
Oh my God.
But it was kind of cool knowing where that spot was, because I went there about 5 times afterwards. Now I'm playing.
You used to it. You're like, I became a regular.
And I became a regular, you know. Just,
That's hilarious. Yeah. That would have been, I don't know, like people knock certain jobs, but I think that there's a lot of jobs that I'm like grateful for because of the characters you meet and come across, you know. That one would be a cool one, I think, doing Uber, especially like in Vegas. Like the kinds of people that you came across, I'm sure, were like some of them normal, right? Some of them quiet, boring, grumpy, happy, drunk, whatever. Like,
you met a lot of characters doing Uber in Las Vegas. Trust me.
You should write a book.
I should write a book. So many people come out here to party, and you just get every different walk of life. I had some people one night who literally thought they were vampires. They told me they were vampires, and
you're like, get the fuck out of my car.
Well, yeah, and they didn't tell me until we're on the highway, which made me even more uncomfortable. Yeah, walk, fly, turn into a fat motherfucker.
Yeah, fuck out of my car. Tuck and roll.
So I'm like, you guys are like actual vampires? They're like, yeah. We found out a few years ago, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's.
I wonder how high they were.
They might have been extremely high. Yeah, they probably were.
Something.
Yeah, they were sitting behind me though. I was very, very uncomfortable, but
you're like, they're gonna come up behind me and just
no, you know.
Fuck.
Yeah, I definitely felt
into you.
Yeah, I definitely felt like that was.
What else did they say?
I'm glad. You know, man, just it was a normal conversation, honestly, but it was just more weird that they were telling me they're actually vampires, and you could tell they thought so too, just by what they were wearing, like real goth-looking style clothes.
There's people out there that are like, they really believe some of the shit that they say. Like they really own the persona, you know. Like, imagine. That'd be crazy.
I had a. Go ahead.
No, go.
I had a stripper one morning. I was like ending my shift. I drove all the way to the morning. It was about like 6 in the morning, and I picked up a stripper from the Spearmint Rhino. Spearmint Rhino is a big gentleman's club out here in Vegas. Most people, if you've been to Vegas and been to strip clubs, you probably know what the Spearmint Rhino is. Anyways, I pick up this stripper. She is obviously having issues over the phone. She's getting in the car. She's yelling in Spanish, and she's just going off on the phone. And I hear somebody else on the other end, whatever, I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna mind my business. I'm gonna take her to where her location is taking her, right? And so I'm driving. We're on the highway. She gets off the phone and she says, "You know what? I can't take this no more. I'm gonna end it all." And she tried to jump out of my car on the highway, and she's behind me, right? Most of the strippers, they sat behind you, probably because that's where they felt more comfortable, right? They didn't want to get hit on by the Uber driver.
I never sit in a front seat in an Uber driving.
Yeah, I do. I don't, not no more. Obviously, you can't because of Corona or whatever. But yeah, usually like when an Uber driver pulls up to pick up the strippers from Spearmint Rhino, you pull up in the back, and so the first door they see is the one on the left, and that's probably where they feel more comfortable, so that the Uber driver's not like, trying to look back at them or whatnot. But anyways, she's like flipping out. She's like, "I don't deserve this. I'm a piece of shit. Like I'm in it all." She opened my door on the highway. She's trying to jump out, and I'm reaching back trying to, hold the door closed. I'm like, "What are you doing?" So, I'm still trying to drive to him on the highway, and I start pulling over. I see an exit. I take the first exit, and I get the door shut. I'm stronger. I got the door shut. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And we pull over to the side, and we're on a ramp, right? That's going up, like kind of at a curve. So there's kind of like an embankment, like a roll down rock area.
Yeah.
She's like, "What?" She's like, "I'm sorry." And I was like, "Hey," I was like, "I don't know what just happened, and I know you're probably going through some things, but I think that I should call 911 and get you some help." And she's like, "No, don't call them. They're gonna take me. They're gonna come take me." I'm like, "Huh?" I was like, "What's going on?" She starts jetting, almost rolling down the embankment hill, and starts running towards the highway. I get on 911, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm an Uber driver. Like this chick, she's flipping out. I don't know, she's having issues. She's suicidal. She tried to jump out of my car. Like, can you guys get over here? Like, I don't know what's going on. She's running towards the highway right now. I don't want her to hurt herself." And they're like, "All right, yeah. Can you describe her?" I described her, and they ended up getting there, but she ended up taking off. Like, she ran back up. She said, No, please don't call the police, please, they're gonna take me." I'm like, "I'm not calling them like to get you in trouble, but I'm calling them because I think you need help right now." Like, I don't know if she was taking drugs on that, but she was obviously going to harm herself, and I needed somebody to help me, because I wasn't trying to get too involved, because I don't want it to come back to me like, "What did you do to make her want to do?" I'm like, "I didn't do shit," So I wanted to make sure I covered my bases on that part. But she goes running in another direction. So I stay put. Like, I don't know where she went. I stay put till the cops get there, and I tell them what happened. They say, like, "What was she wearing?" Blah, blah, blah. And as I'm telling the cop what happened and what she was wearing, they get a call on the radio, chick flipping out by the Palms Casino, wearing what I described, what she was wearing, like gray sweats or whatever.
You heard that on the radio?
Yeah, I heard that on the radio. And so they told me, they took down my number, and they said, "We'll call you if we need you for anything." And I'm like, "All right." And so, I end the trip or whatever. I never got a call, so I'm assuming that, everything was cool. Well, I mean, as far as her not hurting herself, I don't know what happened besides that. But that was a fucking nut story. So one of the number one questions people used to ask when they would get inside the Uber is, "Tell me your craziest story." Terrible question. The worst question. Fuck you. Why does everybody ask this question? But I would ask them, "What kind of story do you want?" Because I have a story for every kind of situation you could think of.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I got a lot of Uber stories. Yeah.
I love people who can, like, I think it's really important that people like do things and go places and talk to people and have experiences, because I think it's really boring when people don't have stories to tell, and when I drive down the street, or I drive anywhere, I'm like, "Oh, I used to live there. Oh, I used to work there." And people like get really annoyed, and they're like, "Oh my God, you live everywhere." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." kind of a nomad. But I know so many people, and I've listened to so many stories. You know, I have some stories. I don't have a lot of stories, but
I'm sure you got more stories than you can come up with right now.
Probably. I could probably tell stories, but not like on demand like that. Like I have to like be reminded because my memory is so shitty that it would take something like triggering a memory for me to tell a story.
I remember the time I ditched my car in downtown Las Vegas because there was a huge brawl and I wasn't trying to get caught in any crossfire guns. I'm like traumatized from people shooting because all my life growing up, going to parties and stuff in the Bay Area, there was always somehow a shooting wherever I was. And I never got shot, thankfully, but I've been present in a lot of shootings, and I knew from experience, all right, there's a brawl going on right now, great chance someone's gonna pull out a gun. Yeah,
like, so I'm gonna head out.
I ditched my car in the middle of the street and walked off to the side, and I'm just watching. I'm like, I'm not about to fight nobody, nothing, don't care what you guys do with my car. I'm not about to get shot in some crossfire, you know. And eventually
were they fighting between cars in the street or something? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, so the street is already kind of narrow. There's only one, you know, going one way, and you know, just one lane back and forth. And so it's already kind of a narrow street. And so if you get caught in the middle of the street and there's dozens of people in the middle of the road fighting or whatnot, like there's nothing.
Like there was like a big like group of people not in cars.
Not in cars, yeah.
Okay.
And it was like a First Friday type of thing. So there's like tons of people already outside. You know, they're supposed to be on the sidewalks and whatnot, but everyone's crossing the street or what. So it's already difficult to drive your car through it, but people want to get dropped off at the bars and whatnot. So you kind of, you know, make your way through somehow. But when everyone's fighting and stuff, there's no way to get through because they're not looking for cars at this point. They're just like, fuck it, you know, chunking them and whatnot. And yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm out.
This is in downtown Vegas?
Downtown Las Vegas.
I got my ass slapped by some chick there when I was down there with you and Erica. You guys had already went to go get the car, and we were walking towards wherever the pickup spot was going to be. And I'm crossing the street, and all of a sudden, I feel like this whoosh, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because like she slapped me hard. I was like, what the fuck? And I turned around and she's all, and her friend's all, I'm so sorry, she's so drunk. Low. I was like, okay, you know, like what the fuck? Like it was crazy. I've never just randomly had my ass slapped by a woman before. That was a first for me.
Welcome to the club.
So you got your ass slapped by a woman?
I hate getting my ass slapped or anything that's typically done to a less manly man. I can't stand it. Like even when
you know what I do to dudes?
What?
If they're bent over?
That's the worst.
Like, I thrust them.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand that. You're weird.
Grab them by the hips and I
like
give them a couple of pumps.
Like a fucking horny chihuahua.
So they don't complain.
Weirdo. Yeah,
they're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, get this.
Oh my god. I can't with you.
You're gonna get this imaginary dick. Damn.
That is too much.
I'm always called the man, so
yeah.
Whatever. Just gonna own it. You're the fucking thrusting motherfuckers.
You're the man in every relationship.
I'm the man in every relationship.
So you
like? No, that's not true. Actually, not all. But
have you ever put a strap on and fucked a guy? Damn.
No, I haven't. I haven't done that.
It's very questionable off everything you just said. It'd be
interesting to find one that was actually down for that or that requested that.
If a guy wanted that,
the guy would.
And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. There's nothing wrong with
guys being gay. Necessarily true though. Like we've talked about this. There are guys who like to have like fingers in their ass to release that like prostate pressure. Like that's a thing.
I'm sure a finger in the ass.
I don't think that's necessarily a gay thing.
Gonna do more to a prostate than relieve pressure. You're going to cause a hemorrhoid. Keep your fingers out of guys' asses. You're going to cause hemorrhoids, okay? It's going to be a little bit of bleeding.
If they ask for a finger in their ass, they're going to get a finger in their ass.
You're going to get some shit in your fingernails.
I'll make them
better be careful.
spit on it.
I this is a super random thought. Not sure why I just thought this, but is this why gay dudes are usually really skinny? Is because they don't eat a lot, because they don't want to shit too much, because they get anal sex? This is a weird random thought.
No,
sorry.
I've never thought about that.
You're like, odd that you have.
I'm like I've never thought about that, but it is things that I've thought about when I've been asked for anal. I'm like, when's the last time I pooped? And like,
you've asked for that before?
No, when I've been asked to let people put it in my ass, which I'm always like, nah. I'm just not down for anal, guys. I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you. I am not that chick. If you are all hearing this and are super disappointed now, I'm sorry. Not sorry.
It's another fetish community mad at you now.
Yeah. First of all, like, there's something. This is a lot of info. Maybe I shouldn't share it.
You going to share it?
Yeah, I'll share it. I have no fucking shame. So. All right. I don't know what the deal is as far as my, like, okay, first of all, I eat clean and that's not what I'm worried about. Mm-hmm. What I do have oftentimes, though, are random spasms, like in my colon. Like, I'll literally be sitting somewhere and driving. Yeah, I know. And I'll just be like, ow, like, it feels like my colon is going like this, like it's being ringed. And it hurts really bad.
Gosh. You just hurt my stomach somehow.
No, it hurts really bad. And this has happened to me for years. That's what it feels like. And I'll just be like sitting or driving and randomly, oh my God, like, because it fucking hurts. And so there has been a time where I did allow anal to be like attempted, right? Mm-hmm. But I paid for it. Like, it hurt really bad, like, later on.
Paid for anal sex?
I didn't pay cash for it, no. I paid for the price for it.
Oh, gotcha.
Later.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm not going to pay somebody to fuck me in the ass. There's people who do it for free. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to pay for sex.
Like, hey, let's just get that do you mind? I got 100 for you here.
I'll pay you $20 to put your dick in my ass. Yeah, no.
Whoa, Stella, whoa.
I know, it's too much. But so that's something that I don't want to do because of like whatever physical condition I have going on down there. Like, also I think about incontinence and how later on down the road, like when I'm an old person and don't have that like muscle tone or whatever, I don't need it exacerbated by like years and years of anal sex. Like, I don't want my shit to slip out involuntarily at some point later on in my life.
You're going to become a real sharter.
I don't want to ever be that.
Hey.
Things that I consider, those are things that I consider when it comes to anal sex. It's like, do I really want to just shit my pants involuntarily later on? Probably not. So
probably not.
I'm just gonna close that door. It's an exit only.
Well, that's nice to know. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Really, really desirable information. We all appreciate it.
This is the perks of being my friend. You get to hear all the nasty shit that I can't tell guys that are courting me, right? I can't tell them till after.
Yeah. Wouldn't change it for the world. Well, everybody.
Hope you enjoyed.
The
conversation today.
Episode 13. We appreciate it. Make sure you follow us on our Instagrams. Apparently, I did the wrong Instagram for Stella, so you want to correct me right now? And
it's Estella Bella, ESTELABELLA.
And what's the other one?
Bottom Heavy Bella.
She wants you to follow the link on it too, by the way.
I do. Bottom heavy Bella.
We'll put it in the description of this video. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Until next time, we're out.